And now with Chris, I believe you have an update. You're still tracking this system.
Yeah, well, for one, this is what you'd be driving in. Now, the crews have done a really good job coming out there. The good news is the precipitation is so light, so the crews are kind of able to get ahead of this, and that's allowing the brine to win out. Now, if we get more freezing rain, that's going to be a little bit more problematic, but one of our more recent shots, we are looking at an okay shot for across much of the area, but still a lot of sleet on the ground. And all of our cameras, I can't even show you what it looks like because we have ice on the lens in Monroe, Kannapolis, Charlotte, actually right on top of our tower here, and then over in Dallas as well. Now, notice how Dallas has the most ice. They're also about 1,500 feet up in the air. So here's what's happening right now. We've had some active sleet that has been on top of a layer of ice. We actually had some freezing rain sneak in, and then that sleet was able to freeze really quickly on top of it. And I think we're seeing totals anywhere from about a ½ inch to an inch, a little bit more further off towards the north. But we still now have a chance for a transition of pure freezing rain to a 1/4 to a ½ inch. Luckily, I don't think we're going to see some of those totals about 3/4 of an inch to an inch around the Charlotte area. But if you just take the pure moisture that we've had so far, we've had up to about a 1/4 inch around Boone. That's a lot more significant sleet and snow that's fallen with this. But once we get these values anywhere from about a 1/4 to a ½ inch, and I want to direct you over to Greenville. Greenville's already starting to see the transition over to pure freezing rain. That's going to be the cause of concern. So if we're getting about a 1/10 of an inch per hour, we're not there yet, that's where things are really going to turn on us. But boy, are we super cold for this. We're starting to lose the battle down towards the south from snow and sleet. You want the snow and sleet, which, by the way, are both coupled together. So we were calling for mainly sleet, and that's pretty much what it is. But at first glance, when you look out the door, you're going to be like, ha, it did snow. It was technically sleet. But there were some signs there were some snowflakes, and there's a little bit more so up in the mountains. But the mountains, you're now starting to see a glaze of that freezing rain that's starting to take over, especially down here to the south, and that's where we're going to be changing things up. So I haven't changed this map yet because I really do think it's going to be around that worst case scenario if we do get it up and over about a ½ inch. So we're still going to keep that around for the upper bounds, but if we do see some heavier rain totals or freezing rain totals, it's well to the north and west. So here's what that looks like. Our futurecast is going to be cruising by, flying through, allowing for really some of the heavier precipitation that is going to be back and forth. Sorry, that went super fast on me. I took out the pause points. So here's what that looks like. So you're really starting, I think, by the late afternoon that you're going to start to see things start to change on us, but it's right about here. Notice right around noon, we start to see a little bit of clearing down towards the southeast, but I don't want you to think that it's just a big old break because you still have a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So above our heads, we're still adding some moisture onto the tree branches and the power lines. So we're still going to have a chance for added weight and even increased power outages. We already have 4,000 people that are without power here in North Carolina. I think that is going to change, especially once we add a lot more ice because it's especially heavy heading into the afternoon. So late morning, early afternoon, I think is where we're seeing most of the activity and plain old rain after that. So our power outages from this system in general are now up and over 100,000 without power in Texas, Mississippi, and Tennessee. We're starting to see increases over here in Kentucky. Now, a lot of this is either ice or snow, and also increased totals. We're almost up to 100,000 right here around Louisiana. We're going to continue to fill in states. And Becca, this isn't just a today thing. With winds picking up, could be problematic heading into Monday as well.
Chris, this will only continue to worsen, and that's kind of like looking into the future. The problems with power outages we're seeing from Texas all the way over towards Tennessee and Kentucky, that's what's headed our way and will only continue to deteriorate as we go later in on the day. This is a question we've been getting asked all week. How does freezing rain or ice impact those power lines? Well, it weighs it down. ½ an inch of ice accumulation on a single power line can weigh up to 500 pounds. Now, if you think about it, when freezing rain starts to have that ice accretion on that power line, it forms as a teardrop shape. So it kind of sags a little bit down. When you add a wind, that's when wires can sway. They can start to collide as well. That's what's called galloping. And I want to show you that futurecast wind gusts because once the freezing rain event actually leaves us, it's really the breezy conditions we're worried about for Monday. This is 3 o'clock. We've got wind gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour up towards the high country, peaking right around 25 here in the Charlotte metro. We'll continue that all day as well. Now, if you also think up towards the mountains, of course, Helene did a lot of damage to those trees, and a lot of those trees are still heavily damaged or leaning to one side. So when you get freezing rain on top of those trees, this is when we also could see those tree limbs down as well. So yes, the freezing rain event, that ends tonight, but we will have impacts lingering with cold temperatures and breezy conditions as we go into the start of the work week. That is why we are weather impact alert through Tuesday morning in this Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast. You'll notice Tuesday morning, that is by far the coldest one, 11 degrees. In the mountains, we'll likely see those temperatures well below zero. Afternoon highs this week will mainly be in the 30s, even to the low 40s. So that's going to be followed by each morning seeing sub-freezing temperatures and afternoons really not warming up much.